Hello and welcome back to another installation of our little mini podcast series. I've got the man, the myth, the legend himself here yet again, the Grant Craft.
And I'm joined alongside the May Teacher of the Month, FEA Teacher of the Month, Mr. Benjamin Norman, showing off his lovely swag from Teacher of the Month.
Thank you.
Hey folks, we are just 1 week away from the start of early voting in this election and just over 2 weeks away from Election Day itself, where you'll be able to vote for one of these 5 candidates that are magically floating above our heads.
Yeah, and the stakes arguably have never been so high. We've got a brand new board who's going to be elected here this summer, and they get right to work once the school year begins. Another negotiation cycle starting up. We've got the FEA negotiations committee going to be gathering and beginning to brainstorm, and they're going to be working with this new school board, obviously throughout the negotiation cycle, but also through negotiations training.
Yeah, and one of the biggest issues that always comes up at the negotiations table is the topic of teacher recruitment and teacher retention. And we have seen that issue explode over the past couple of years. And so this video and the next video that we put out is intended to highlight that topic and see what our candidates that were endorsed had to say about this issue that keeps growing and problematic every year.
2 quick asks before we hear from our endorsed candidates, a couple of our endorsed candidates today. Firstly, please share this video far and wide to get the word out. And secondly, if you want more information about our candidates, our process, voting options, please check out our YouTube channel and our Facebook and all of our social medias for more information.
All right, Ben, here we go. One of the biggest troubles with this issue of teacher retention and recruitment is just how multifaceted it can be. And that's exactly what Melissa Beckerland had to share with us as she expressed her concerns about the ability to recruit and retain teachers. Take a listen.
I'm a firm believer that the best way to show somebody that they're valuable is to try to give them the most competitive salary that you're able to give them. So salaries for school teachers will be something that I'm almost always going to be driving to enhance and make sure that that's really competitive. I also think we could maybe do some creative solutions about, compensation in a non-salary way. So if we're able to work with the legislature to do any student loan forgiveness or making sure that there's really comprehensive and generous healthcare plans and making sure that you have protected time, or in the case of recess, if it's not protected time, that you're at least being compensated for that time. Again, I think listening to what their greatest needs are and what the biggest sources of the burnout is, and then trying to make sure that we're addressing that.
Yeah, Melissa clearly gets it. She knows that this is a complex issue, and she knows that it's one that needs more attention, right? You're going to need multiple solutions for a complex issue like this, but she recognizes that we need to be addressing this far more than we are right now. Someone who also is in a similar boat is Lynn Telford. She is acutely aware of staffing shortages from her work within the nursing field, and here's what she had to say.
So I can appreciate this from a workforce perspective because in healthcare, we have been tremendously stretched. We have, we've taken on additional roles and responsibilities as well. I can appreciate the extra loads and all of those things, but at least for me, it was temporary. And I know that for teachers and staff, it continues. One of the things that I have been interested in for a few years, I had reached out to Dr. Gandhi and asked about the workplace culture surveys. How does Fargo Public Schools measure workplace culture? And what I understood was, and I am assuming this is accurate, is that there are surveys, workplace culture surveys done, essentially culture of safety, how safe do the staff feel speaking up, raising concerns. It sounds though like the surveys require the staff to put in their email address. And I think the response rate at the time that I asked, which was maybe a year and a half ago, was about 20%. 20% is really a low response rate for surveys. How are you getting a good picture of the culture of the staff if only 20% of people are responding?
I think what Lynn had to say is spot on. How can you begin to fix a problem if you're not even really sure what the problem is or what is stemming that problem? If you're only hearing 20% of your staff in a survey, you're not getting a full representation. And so these two candidates together understand the nature of the staffing shortages and the many issues that come alongside that of having an understaffed workforce and the desperate need for not only effective recruitment, but also ensuring that staff members are in a place where they want to stay and therefore are having higher retention.
And in our next video, we're going to hear more about that topic from our other endorsed candidates, Greg Clark, Nia Malday, and Katie Christensen. They're going to be talking about the retention crisis, how do you recruit folks, and so much more. Until then, I'm Ben Norman on behalf of Grant Craft. Take care, wear plenty of sunscreen. Hopefully it's sunnier today than it is right now. See you later.